Hello everybody, I am Ryan and welcome to Primetime Horror, and in today's video we are going to be doing a bit of a different one. I am going to be basically telling you guys all about the lost/unreleased Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie called All American Massacre. Now the reason why I'm doing this video is because I have talked to a lot of die-hard horror fans, die-hard Texas Chainsaw Massacre fans, and barely any of them knew about this movie. Barely any of them knew about this movie's existence, and I thought that was pretty crazy. So, you know, I find all this really interesting, so I think that those of you who don't know anything about this movie will also find it interesting. I did a bunch of research so I can go through as much of it as I can without making it too long. This is basically just going to be my brief rundown of the lost/unreleased Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie called All American Massacre. So, I'll shut up and let's get started. All American Massacre is the unreleased spin-off to Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, directed by Tony Hooper, Tobe Hooper's son, filmed between 1999 and 2000, where it's revealed that after what happened to Chop Top at the end of Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, he is actually still alive and in a psychiatric prison. Now, one day reporters come to interview him. This is where Chop Top's past/origins are revealed through a series of flashbacks told by Chop Top himself. Now, this to me seems like a really interesting concept for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie, and I feel like if made well and executed well, this could be a really popular sequel in the franchise because people love Chop Top. I've talked to many people that say Chop Top is their favorite character other than Leatherface, and me personally, he is also my favorite character other than Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. So I definitely would have loved to see this sequel/spin-off. It seems like it has a lot of promise. So this movie came to be from Bill Moseley, who plays Chop Top, kind of helping Tobe Hooper's son, Tony Hooper, getting some special effects jobs. Now, the reason why Bill Moseley was doing this to kind of try to get the attention of Tobe Hooper so he could hopefully maybe get a role in one of his movies, because at the time he wasn't really getting any roles and he was basically trying to do anything he could to get a role in some kind of movie. Well, one night while talking on the phone with Tony Hooper, Tony mentioned that he was going to be doing a short film to kind of show off his CGI skills to try to get a job in a movie he was trying to get a job in at the time. So he was basically going to make a short film to show off his skills, and that short film was indeed All American Massacre. Now, Tony asked Bill Moseley if he was willing to do it, and he said, hell yeah. So that is where All American Massacre started. Over time, the movie went from being a small little short film to a full-fledged, full-length movie, and eventually Tony Hooper got an entire cast of people, and one of those people happened to be Buckethead, who was one of Bill Moseley's friends, and he is also a very popular guitarist. I am personally a fan of him, and he actually plays Leatherface out of all people in this movie, which is kind of surprising because, like, Buckethead is like the complete opposite body type of Leatherface, but from what little footage we have of him playing Leatherface, he actually looks pretty cool as him. And everything was going great for this movie. They had a website, they had a trailer out, they had cast interviews, everything was going good. The movie was set to release on October of 2000, and the date came and went and no movie. Months turned into years and still no movie. And even the cast members were wondering, you know, what the heck is going on with this movie? And to this day, no one really knows for sure. Now, there are many theories that I'm going to be going over later in this video, but still no official answer as to why we still haven't gotten All American Massacre. So I'm going to be going through a short list of theories/reasons why this movie may or may not be released. So starting us off is that the studio that owned the rights to Texas Chainsaw Massacre at the time sent Tony Hooper a cease and desist letter, basically saying that he needs to stop filming and not release the movie or else they will sue his ass off. Now, this one kind of seems likely, but I feel like if this is the reason, that we would have at least gotten some kind of confirmation by now, because it isn't like some kind of crazy reason. I mean, I'm sure this happens all the time. So I feel like if this is the actual reason, that it should have been like announced by somebody by now, especially Tony Hooper himself. So that's one of them. So the next theory, and one I kind of find funny, is that so at the time this movie would have came out not too long after Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation came out, and the director of that movie, Kim Hinkle, who is also one of the owners of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise at the time, heard of this movie being a thing and basically did anything in his power to stop it from coming out, because he didn't want it to upstage his movie or be better than his, which was definitely a possibility, considering Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation was absolute ass and definitely not well received by fans or critics at the time. So this one definitely does seem likely, but as I said, nothing's been confirmed, so as of right now, this is just one of the theories. But yeah, if anything on this list, this one is probably one of the most likely ones. So another theory why All-American Massacre never came out is that someone actually got murdered or died on the set of All-American Massacre, and in a way to kind of cover it up or pretend like it never happened, they didn't release the movie in a way to kind of cover it up. Now, this one is super unlikely for obvious reasons. But if they wanted to cover up, if they wanted to cover up the supposed death, why would they leave the entire All-American Massacre website with, the release date, trailers, interviews, and all that, if they were trying to cover up the supposed death that happened? So yeah, that one is super unlikely, but hey, who knows? So the last theory as to why All-American Massacre never came out is that apparently Jim Sydow, or Sydow, I'm sorry, I'm probably butchering his name, but he played the cook in the first two Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, and apparently he was supposed to make some kind of big grand return at the end of All-American Massacre, but while they were filming, he passed away, and obviously they wouldn't be able to have him appear at the end of the movie. And since they wouldn't be able to have the ending they wanted, Tony Hooper and the cast kind of abandoned All-American Massacre and just scrapped it overall. Now, this theory kind of seems likely. The only reason why it seems less likely to me than all the other ones is that they literally released a trailer with a set release date. They were, filming like crazy, and they literally this movie was going to be a thing. Now, I feel like they wouldn't just completely abandon the movie that they were working so hard on because they wouldn't be able to get the ending they wanted. Now, I'm sure Jim Sydow, or Sydow's death would have definitely sucked for them, but they had already put so much work into this movie, and I really don't picture them completely abandoning it. But yeah, those were some of the theories why we never got All-American Massacre. But things were looking up for All-American Massacre fans in 2011 because a Kickstarter was released for All-American Massacre for finishing funds, apparently, and they had a set amount of money that they needed for finishing funds, but sadly they didn't make the amount of money they needed, so All-American Massacre faded back into obscurity. Now, do I think All-American Massacre will ever come out? It's kind of a mixed bag for me, because you have one half of the people involved with All-American Massacre saying it's a really good possibility, but then you have the other half saying, forget about it, we're never gonna get it. So, I mean, if they ever release another Kickstarter type thing for it, another crowdfunded type release, it might be able to come out because a lot more people know about All-American Massacre since 2011, but yeah, man, I don't know. It's really hard to say. I'm leaning more towards yes. I think it's a good possibility, but no one truly knows if this movie is ever going to come out or not, except for Tony Hooper himself, and to this day, we haven't heard much from him about this movie. But at least we have some footage from this movie. Like I said earlier, whenever they released the website for All-American Massacre in 2000, they released the trailer with some interviews, and also in 2020, there was a really short video clip leaked of Leatherface in All-American Massacre, played by Buckethead. It's just a really weird black and white clip. We don't know for sure if this is an actual clip from the movie or some kind of weird behind-the-scenes thing Buckethead did, but it is still related to All-American Massacre, and all those clips I just mentioned are on YouTube, so I will link them down below for you guys to check them out for yourself. And also, there's a really good documentary on Tubi about All American Massacre. It goes really in depth. They tell a crap ton more theories than I just did. And they also have an interview with an actual cast member from the movie, the guy who plays Grandpa and a few other characters in the movie. They have an interview with him. That entire documentary is really interesting. It's on Tubi. It's called In Search of All American Massacre. I highly recommend you check it out if you're interested in any of this stuff. And if you've made it to the end of this video, then you probably are. So check out that documentary. And well, you guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I had really fun making this one. It's definitely a different video for me to make. I usually do rankings or collection videos, but this was definitely fun. If you guys want me to make this an actual series of lost/unreleased horror movies, let me know, because like I said, I had fun making this one, and I would definitely be down to do others if you guys will actually watch them. So if you liked the video, please hit the like button, and if you're not subscribed already, subscribe. And yeah, that's basically it. This has been Primetime Horror. I am Ryan, signing off. See you later.